My name is Ronelle Lyson, and I'm the Alumni Relations Coordinator in the Advancement and Alumni Relations Department. Before we proceed, please take note that the webinar will be recorded and then uploaded to our YouTube channel. Should you have any questions while the session is proceeding, please feel free to use the chat box function, or alternatively, you can use your voice to question us in the Q&A segment. I really hope you guys are excited as I am for this webinar. And I'd just like to pass on now to my manager, Mrs. Nishi Govender, who will officially welcome you. Mrs. Govender.
Good morning. Thank you, Ronelle. On behalf of the Advancement and Alumni Relations Office, I would like to officially welcome colleagues, students, alumni to yet another webinar in our mentorship series. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate the support, and we hope we are making an impact on those of you that are attending with the various webinars that we have held thus far. And I also believe we might be having students from our language practice program in attendance. So I would like to welcome them to this webinar as well. I'm sure you'd be able to glean valuable information from this session to help you market yourselves. And finally, let me extend a very warm welcome to our guest speaker, Mr. Stuart Samkange, LinkedIn Academic Talent Solutions. We are so looking forward to your presentation, Mr. Samkange, which I know will make an impact on participants, myself included. So Mr. Samkange's Rock Your Profile presentation will provide resources to let students know the benefits of a LinkedIn profile and presence. We know that having an active and well put together LinkedIn profile significantly increases the chances of your discovery by various companies looking to hire people based on your particular skills and experience. So Mr. Samkange will share with you strategies and tips on how to professionally set up your profile for maximum effect and success. So I'd like to officially welcome you all. I am certain you will find the session very informative.
Nishi, I think you mistakenly muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. I'm not too sure how far I've gone. But
you were just saying, so welcome.
Oh, okay. So no, I was just wanting to welcome you all to the session again. And I just want to reiterate that I do hope you find the session informative. And please feel free to pose your questions and make this as interactive and exciting as possible. And I'm sure, I do believe we might have a survey that we'll be posting. So if you, I would encourage you to complete that survey so it helps us in improving our services to you as well. So once again, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the session, and I, for one, I am looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Govender, for officially doing the welcome. Just a reminder to attendees, please can you mute your mics? We don't want any interference while our guest speaker educates and tells about how to rock our LinkedIn profiles. And without further ado, I'm very excited about this. I can see a lot of people as well have attended this workshop and this webinar, sorry. So I can see that there's been a lot of excitement and attention to this webinar. So thank you, Mr. Samkane, for allowing us to as a guest speaker. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today, which is Mr. Stuart Samkange, who is LinkedIn Talent Solutions and a program leader graduate activation program. Mr. Samkane holds various qualifications. There are too many for me to mention, but he may mention it during his chat with you guys now. Um, his mission, which I find very powerful, is to literally make the working world a better place, one HR director at a time. And so, without further ado, please, Mr. Samkane, educate us on how to rock our LinkedIn profile.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought I'd just come on camera for a few minutes so that we can authentically connect and see that there's actually a person behind the microphone. So welcome to each and every one of you. I know today I'm going to be speaking to a mixed audience. We got professionals, of course, from DUT that are joining us. Thank you very much, our faculty leaders and staff members who have joined us in this session. And then we've got, of course, our student community. And some of you are in various stages of your career, whether it be that you've just recently started your formal education, whether it be that you are currently transitioning and preparing to go out into the world of work, or if you're already part of our alumni and are out there as an entrepreneur or as a job seeker. So I will try and speak to each and every one of us, but I need you to have a keen ear on how I position certain things. I may be speaking to job seekers, but as an entrepreneur, I want you to think of that advice in terms of, well, it's just talking about getting hired. How do I get hired as a service provider, selling my solutions, services, and of course, your thought leadership? So I will try and speak to multiple audiences in this session. I have a presentation deck, no doubt, that I will be using as a benchmark for our conversation. This is a recorded session. What I'm encouraging you to do is to listen and actively participate in this session. You can come back and watch the recording afterwards and pick up on some of the things that I would have not spoken to. There's a lot to learn, but there's a lot that can bring you great value. So with that, I'm going to switch over and actually bring up my presentation. And once you can see it, Ronell, please give me the thumbs up so that we can get started immediately. Ronell, I just need... oh, so you can see it?
Yes, we can. Thanks,
Yes, we
Stuart.
can.
Thank you to our generous hosts and, of course, those who are sitting on the panel. There will be a short discussion, I believe, afterwards. Thank you very much to DUT. We partner on multiple levels. We partner by, first of all, helping the university plan how it brings in amazing talent that becomes part of the staff and the faculty that serve you as students. We work with the university in terms of bringing in the best talent and, of course, helping that talent develop. But today's session is about you as a student, and I want this to be all about you. What is this session about? It's about teaching you to rock your profile, how to build a vibrant professional story on LinkedIn that allows you to go out there into the world of work, to find opportunities. And here, when I speak about opportunities, I don't want us just to think about jobs. It's opportunities to partner. It's opportunities to learn. It's opportunities to sell. It's opportunities to market. It's opportunities to connect. So it's so much more than just jobs. So let's open our minds. So let's go out into this world. Let's find these opportunities. And by building our profile today, we want then the world to find us. Because if we don't tell the world the skills and the professional story, the value, the results, and the things that we aspire for, if we don't tell the world what we're learning, what skills we're enhancing, then it's going to be hard for the world to hire us as employees, as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as service providers. So I encourage each and every one of us to open up our minds as we begin this journey. I thought it would be pertinent to also share with you a little bit about my world and the world that I operate in and how LinkedIn fits into the student journey. So for those who are just beginning. Typically, we will partner with your career services organization and help you start telling your professional story through sessions like the one we're hosting.
Sorry, Stuart. I think you've been muted mistakenly.
Unbelievable. Sorry. So let's get going with this. I am going to skip the thanks and the opportunity and get straight into it. I was just beginning, and I hope you can still hear me here. Just beginning to outline my purpose and my mission and why we brought together this session. Why I work at LinkedIn. I work at LinkedIn so I can help people like yourself get access to economic opportunities. My job sees me covering a huge territory. I look after Africa, Central Eastern Europe, and Southern Eastern Europe. These opportunities have come to me based on the things that I've been doing on my LinkedIn profile. I have had an amazing career working for multiple multinationals, living in 7 countries, and I attribute that to what I've been doing on my LinkedIn profile because hiring managers have been reaching out to me. When we talk today about what LinkedIn means to you and why we're rocking your profile, we're doing that so that ultimately you can go out into this world, this working world of professionals. Over 745 million professionals are on LinkedIn. So, how do we go out to this world and tell our unique story? Telling the story of the results, the impact, the things we're passionate about, sharing our own point of view, interacting with those in the industries we'd like to work in. As I was saying, with this session, I know some of you are going through different stages of your career. Maybe you're looking for a job. Maybe you're transitioning into a new job. Maybe you're looking to become an entrepreneur. So, as we talk about this Rock Your Profile session, I want you to keep an open mind about how we're going out into that world as your personal brand, finding opportunities to connect, finding opportunities to market, to sell, to learn, to engage, to connect, finding opportunities to help. One of the most powerful things you can do on LinkedIn is share with your communities insights, things you've learned, sharing with your communities things that empower them, things that you have experienced or witnessed. By sharing this learning, this brings that stickiness to your profile that shows your community that you're sharing things that help them and not only looking to receive. On LinkedIn, of course, we get the opportunity to be found. By just building a profile, it's not enough in terms of being found. We need to engage with thought leaders. We need to be telling our story. We need to be on hashtags that are related to our industry. We need to join groups that are related to the things we're most passionate about. And of course, we need to be hired. And when I talk about hired here, as I said, some of you are going through different stages of your career. It's not just ultimately about being hired into jobs, it's being hired as a thought leader, being hired as an author, being hired as a researcher, a guest speaker, etc. There are multiple opportunities that you can connect to which bring you economic gain on LinkedIn if you use it wisely. I thought it would be pertinent just to share a quick overview of how we partner with institutions like DUT. In terms of partnership, we partner earlier on as you as students begin your journey. We help you build out through sessions like this one, what a great LinkedIn profile should look like and how you nurture it as you go through your career journey. Through this partnership, we intend on providing insights and data into what skills are in demand out in the workplace today. And if you stay until the end of this session, I've pulled some data around which jobs are trending in South Africa, who's currently hiring, and what skills are they looking for. So that's the sort of data that we share through the partnership with your career services and your alumni institution so that you start adding complementary skills on top of the formal learning that you're having. And in the back end of this, to make sure that the ecosystem is successful, we're partnering up with your faculty and giving them access to world-class learning so that they can flip the classroom. They can have this world-class experience with yourself in terms of gaining this new age skills that are required in the world of work today. Through that partnership with the university, we'll be identifying student champions who will help us carry this next generational message into our community of students. And through that partnership, again with your career services, help you start getting those skills that help you ace those interviews, that help you have better job hunting strategies, that help you communicate, network effectively, and of course, use your time wisely to land those opportunities you're looking for. And as we said, the opportunities expand beyond just jobs. The opportunities, if we put on our entrepreneurial hat, these are opportunities to connect with the professional world. Whether you're studying music, biology, whether you're studying social sciences, ultimately, when you are looking to engage with corporates out there, the people who hire you, the people who write the purchase orders, the people who make the decisions are on LinkedIn. So you cannot afford to ignore it. We have close on 9 million South African professionals represented today on the platform. And what's more is that not only is this a place where you go out and you tell the story of your skills, your education, and your work experience, but this is the place where you're going to come on a regular basis to find out what's happening in the industry, what's happening that you can solve for. What are the challenges they're grappling with? Who's grappling with that challenge? Who in that organization seems to be talking about this particular area that you believe, when given an opportunity, you can go in to provide a service, a product, or even to be gainfully employed by that institution? And as you stay informed, you start beginning to get a sense of, if I want to work in this organization, who do they compete with? Who are their customers? What do they care about? All of this knowledge will give you credibility when you get that opportunity to be interviewed. You stay informed about who is in leadership positions, who is in positions that are not in leadership, but can tell me more about the company, the institution, the challenges they have, how they got into their roles, how they have been successful in that organization. Let's broaden our knowledge and let's broaden our thinking in this session. I just want to check in with Ronel if sound is great and if we're pacing well and if we're engaged and if there's any questions already in the Q&A, or am I good to carry on?
You're good to carry on. I don't see any questions yet.
Okay, superb. So I thought I'd lay out what we're going to be covering today and what you can expect. As I said, right at the tail end of this, I'm going to be sharing with you who's hiring in South Africa in terms of the top companies and organizations. What skills are they looking for and which jobs are currently most in demand? So we said today is all about you, and I'm going to help you rock your profile as an individual. But let's start off by talking about what are the benefits of being on LinkedIn if you're not already convinced. Being on LinkedIn gives you an opportunity to talk to multiple stakeholders. If I was to compare LinkedIn to what you would have as an alternative, being a resume, curriculum vitae, LinkedIn allows you to speak to more people, allows you to change the narrative of your story as your career journey changes, as your aspirations change, as you acquire new skills, as you identify new opportunities, as you begin to learn more about industries, as you begin to learn more about the problems that you can solve for. So that's one of the immediate benefits, is that we have a digital billboard of our professional story. It's digital. It's a billboard telling the world what skills, what impact, what results we can bring in. And it's dynamic, meaning that it's not something we set up and walk away from. It's something that we continuously change as our aspirations and our journey changes from a professional context. This is an assistant that's going to be working for you 24/7, identifying jobs that are aligned to your skills, your education. It's going to give us the opportunity to dynamically discover new people that should form part of our network. As we post content, as we engage on the platform, it will start suggesting people in your industry that you should possibly connect up with. And LinkedIn is not a popularity contest. It's not about how many people you connect up with, but what meaningful connections have you made that will help build your professional journey. And you don't have to always connect with people. You can choose to follow people. So there might be leaders of industry, future hiring managers, people that inspire you, that you want to be. You don't have to reach out to connect with them, but you can reach out and follow them so that when they post content, it shows up in your news feed. As you scroll through LinkedIn, those things that you see are based on your network. So it pays that you're building an intentional network of people that can employ you, people that can hire your services, people in the same industry as yourself, people who share a passion that you have, people that grow you. So if you've been going about it, adding people randomly, I encourage you to go back, have a look at the network that you have. You can choose to unfollow people. You can choose to remove connections. Don't worry, they won't be informed. But this enriches your experience on LinkedIn. When I'm going into a meeting, and I want you to think about this, if you're selling a proposition or if you're going into an interview, one of the best ways to build your credibility or for you to show that you've invested in that organization is to go onto LinkedIn, read more about that organization, but also just to put in the hashtag around that, the topic we're going to be talking about. What are other professionals sharing? What is out there that can help me enhance my credibility? That can help me change my point of view? What can I see in my newsfeed that I can add my own perspective and reshare with my network so that my network begins to see me as a thought leader? The more I post content on digital marketing, the more I post content on agriculture and how we're transforming it, the more people in that industry, these being other professionals, hiring managers, or even potential colleagues or people that hire service providers in that sector, begin to look forward to my content because I'm enriching them, I'm empowering them. So your newsfeed essentially is based on the people we follow. And we'll get into this a little bit more details as we go through this session. And here's one other amazing thing. The thing I love about LinkedIn the most is that LinkedIn, contrary to everybody's perception that it's a place we go in to find jobs, LinkedIn has been using the knowledge and the insights that are coming from people's presence on LinkedIn and organizations on LinkedIn and the jobs that they're posting for to then craft out what skills would this community need in order to gain access to these opportunities. So we have over 16,000 online e-learning courses that can help you. And this is why I was saying, as much as you're going through your formal education right now, as we share what skills are employable, you can start gaining those skills online on LinkedIn, adding them to your profile so that the world of work begins to see the investments you are making in yourself. 745 million people out there, 9 million South Africans. How do you stand out? How do you show that you're investing in this craft, that you want to be a subject matter expert in it? And that although you don't have the work experience, you're building up your credibility bag by investing in yourself. So I hope essentially you're beginning to get an understanding of why we need a profile. Now let's start beginning to look at what are the things that are essential to have in your profile. There's so many things you can add in your profile, but I thought I'd highlight 7 things before we actually dissect what great looks like in terms of a profile. Do we have any questions thus far? And is everybody still with me?
No questions thus far, and I think everyone is engrossed in what you are saying.
Okay, superb. All right. So, guys, I want you for a second just to close your eyes and vision a moment where you're going to buy yourself a nice pair of shoes. It's a treat. You're walking down the street. Street is not too busy, as you know, these days, not too many people on the streets, and you're walking through a retail mall. And as you walk through that retail mall, you see a shop on your left hand side and you see another shoe shop on the right hand side. The shop on the left hand side has that perfect pair of shoes that you had in your mind as a treat for yourself. As you look at that pair of shoes, you happen to notice a couple of things about that shop window. It looks a little bit dusty. There's a couple of cobwebs, and the vase that's got flowers, the flowers look a little bit dried out. And as you look inside that shop, the shop attendant looks a little bit bored and grumpy. You take a look on the right-hand side. Hey, they're selling the same pair of shoes. But guess what? The shop window looks a little bit better. It's clean. It looks warm. It looks welcoming. The flowers are blooming. It looks inviting. The lights inside are attractive. And guess what? The shop attendant actually looks warm and welcoming. They're wearing a smile. Now, if you had to make a choice on where you'd buy that pair of shoes, you'd probably choose the shop on the right because we're visual. As we begin to speak about our LinkedIn profiles, one thing that people take for granted, or maybe they don't know, is that the visuals that we put into our profile help to make you stand out. From the photograph itself of ourselves, when we have a great profile photograph, the data tells us that people will look at our profiles up to 21 times more. You are likely to receive up to 36 times more messages. You're likely to get up to 9 times more connection requests when you have a profile photograph. So if you are looking for a job, if you are looking to connect, reality says that you and I would not connect up with people we don't know in the real world. So warm, welcoming profile photograph goes a long way to starting your journey on LinkedIn. An authentic photograph. And here's what I'm saying. Don't think about going to, well, you could go to a studio. I'm not trying to take photographers out of business, but the smartphones that you have, the people around your house, the people around you, they can take a great headline profile photograph of you. So dress for the industry that you want to be in. A warm, welcoming smile to go with it shows the authentic self that you are. Next, you want to make sure, if you have built in built your LinkedIn profile already, is to go back and maybe look at the location. Because guess what? With COVID and everything else, our recruiters and hiring managers, again, are beginning to think of what work can be done remotely. Where can we avoid having to relocate people into cities? Where can we find the talent that we need that's already within our locality? So it pays for you to make sure that your location on your LinkedIn is up to date. Next, and we will expand on this, is of course talking about the strengths that you have, the things that matter, your about section. I'm actually going to dedicate a few minutes to this section in the next slide But it's important that we understand that our about section is literally our elevator pitch. If we had to meet a hiring manager, if we had to meet a procurement manager, and we're there as an entrepreneur, or we're there for an interview, and we met them in the elevator and we had 9 floors to go up, and we had the opportunity to introduce ourselves, what would you say? This is who I am. This is what I do. This is what's unique about it, and this is why it should matter to you. You want to make them curious about you. Your about section, if I was to think of the best way to think about it, is to think of the Maya Angelou quote. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will not forget how you made them feel. This is where we begin to bring our human self. What do we care about professionally? What results have we brought? What's measurable? What investments are we making in ourselves? What's our aspiration? Why are we on this platform? What's my call to action? If someone was looking at my profile and I wanted to tell more stories about myself, can I attach a photograph? Yeah. Can I add my thesis? Yes. Can I add examples of projects I've worked on? Yes. But if I've invested in other platforms, maybe I've participated on a podcast, can I put this on my LinkedIn profile? Yes. Maybe I have a YouTube channel showing the things I'm doing. Can I tell about this YouTube channel on LinkedIn? Yes. Remember, success begins with your LinkedIn profile. Those who hire, those who engage are on the platform. Yes, they may be redirected to your blog site, to your website, to your Instagram site to see the professional side of the things that you're offering. But in terms of where they gain the most value and engage with you, it begins here on your LinkedIn profile. Oftentimes, a couple of people forget that the things that matter and the things that make us human are the things that we do for no personal gain. So I encourage you, if you're doing volunteer work, add it to your LinkedIn profile, because holistically, I want to know the person you are if I'm going to hire you, if I'm going to share information with you. So what will you do for no personal gain? Because guess what? Hiring managers and recruiters and other members will view your profile up to 6 times more, because they're beginning to get a human connection about you and what you stand for. And as we begin to get into a global and a more diverse world, the languages that you speak, the qualifications and the awards and the things that you've received will matter more in terms of helping someone understand who you are and what you can bring to the world of work. Ronelle, I see you've come off mute. Do we have questions?
No, I haven't come off mute.
Okay,
No
super.
questions as yet.
All right. So I've talked about this essential 7 things that you need to have on your profile, but I thought what would be great is actually to look at a profile that I think is world class. But here's the thing, as I say, it's world class. Understand that there's no such thing as a perfect profile. This is your career journey. It'll continue to evolve. If we start aiming for perfection, we stop acting. So I'm asking you to not let perfection get in the way of goodness. So this might be a great profile. It might take you time to build a profile like this, but let's start today investing in ourselves. All right. We said we'll look at a profile that looks great. We're looking at the profile of my executive chairman. And as this is a recorded session, I hope he watches this on YouTube and that it goes towards my performance appraisal. Hopefully a little humor for you there. But I'm sure when I put up this slide and as it came up on the screen, the one thing that arrested your attention was the photograph that appears as a banner behind Jeff Wiener's profile. It's a blurred image of people walking into LinkedIn, and I think there's a quote there where Jeff says that he's connecting talent with opportunity at massive scale. That's what we're all about here at LinkedIn, is helping people gain access to new economic opportunities. But I draw your attention to this image because this is valuable real estate that you have on your LinkedIn profile that you can start using to engage your audience. As you,
Sorry, Stuart, to interrupt.
yeah, sure.
Would it be possible for you to make the slide a little bit bigger and clearer because some of the participants cannot see the slide?
I think if I was, let me try and switch. Just hold on one second. I'm just going to switch that screen and let's see if it gets a little bit better. All right, and I'm going to share. If they're complaining, it means they're engaged. I love it. Thank you. How does the screen look? Is this a little bit better?
It is a little bit better, yeah. Thank you.
All right. So as I was saying, what visually arrested us was the graphics. Human minds will process images up to 66,000 times faster than they will process text. And what I was getting to is that that image behind Jeff's photograph, what we're seeing in the background here, that's real estate that you can use to already start engaging the professional world visually. So, what image would resonate with your audience to speak to the industry that you're in? What image could you put there possibly that highlights the services or the products or the solutions you're offering today as an entrepreneur? What image could help connect other professionals to see that you have an interest in a particular industry, a particular topic, a particular technology, a particular craft? So you can visually stimulate people by putting in a background image that begins to tell your story. It could be your connection details, your other platforms, telling people that you have a Twitter account, that you have a YouTube channel, and that maybe your Instagram, which others use for personal stories, is where you're also telling the professional story of the services that you offer because that community happens to be there. So you can add any image to the background of your profile that will begin to engage your audience. So use it wisely. Next is we spoke about your personal photograph. I often find that when you make up to 60% of that photograph your face, it takes away the pressure of standing behind a podium, of having to dress up for it. I just find that people want to engage with your authentic self. So a clear headshot is probably the best way to start this. And remember, possibly up to 80% of the people who will look you up on LinkedIn will probably look you up using a mobile device. So when we tend to have photographs standing behind a podium or sitting behind a desk, that photograph tends to be small in terms of our face and might make it hard for people to visually recognize us when they meet us in person. We've already talked about the location, but it's important again to point out in terms of location that this can influence up to 23 times the number of searches that your profile will become visible to potential partners. In terms of your summary, your about section, like I said earlier on, here's where we want to tell the story of who we are. And this is where we dynamically change our LinkedIn profile on a more frequent basis. As our journey changes, as we acquire new skills, as we learn more about the industry, as we learn more about the language that's used in the industry where we're looking jobs, in our about section, we then say, this is who I am. This is the journey I'm on. These are some of the skills I've acquired along that journey. These are the people I'm looking to connect up with on LinkedIn because this is how it will build to my story. Or if you are an entrepreneur, or if you are a job seeker, you're telling the story of this is what I'm doing as I wait for that dream job. There is no shame in delivering food. There is no shame in working in a restaurant. Many successful people, as they transition to being the professionals they are, they sold insurance, and there's no shame in those jobs. I'm not highlighting these jobs as that they're not important, but what I'm trying to say is, as you're going through your career journey, you will take on jobs that might not be aligned to what you professionally aspire to. But how do you tell that story on LinkedIn to show that you are gaining work experience? You are gaining a diverse set of skills that might apply in that future role that you're going to play into. So that's where we begin to tell the story in our About section. And if you're struggling with this About section, the beauty with LinkedIn is you can look up your alumni, other professionals who are already successful, and say, what have they done? What story have they told? And how can I retell that story authentically from my personal perspective? In terms of work experience, some of you are sitting there today and they're saying, but Stuart, I don't have the work experience. I'm a student. But let's rethink broadly about experience and work. Have you helped out in a family business? Have you held an internship? Have you helped out in a voluntary capacity? Have you helped out around the campus? Well, this is where we begin to see that word experience and work, where we can begin to define the duration, the institution. And when we define the institution that we did work for, the logo of that institution then shows against our profile, adding credibility to our story. And what we want to put in that work experience is not a job description, but rather to highlight who it was we're working for, what they do, so that broadly everyone can understand, was it an institution? Was it a family business? Were they a service business? Was it a sales job? So who was it that you engaged with, right? What is it that that organization does, so that broadly people can understand it's a large multinational, it's a startup, it's a business that we built with a colleague. And then we get into the crux of it. What value did you bring in, and what results and what impact did you have? That's what we put in. We don't put in a description of what the job role was, because from the title alone, people can infer the sort of things that you did. What they're more interested in is the results, the impact, and the uniqueness that you brought into that role. So that's what we put into our work experience. And there are many profiles out there that you can look at in terms of getting an idea of what to put into your work experience. My pro tip to you is that you should also think about the language that's used in the industry you want to work in. So go look at job descriptions, look at job posts that they've got right now. What words are they using there? And how do you use some of those words authentically in your profile? Because all the things we put in our profile are searchable. So we want to make sure that when a recruiter, a hiring manager, a potential colleague who can refer me into a job, when they search for keywords, they find some of those keywords in our narrative. So by bringing us closer to that opportunity. Last thing I want to share on this is that as we build out our story of the work experience, remember I said people are visual. So if you have photographs, if you have infographics, if you have a PowerPoint slide, maybe it's a short one, maybe it's an infographic, maybe it's an image of you working on a project, maybe it's a prototype of the solution you've built and you're selling, maybe it's photographs of your happy customers. We can add these under our work experience so that visually people can get a sense of the role you played, the impact and results that you had, and maybe an idea of the solution or the uniqueness that you brought into it. I hope these things have already started bubbling in the back of your mind in terms of the things that you will do after this session to edit on your personal profile. I want you to stay engaged in the session and then edit your profile after this. Ronald, do we have any questions or may I proceed?
And no questions, you may proceed.
And how am I doing for time and how much more time do I have? I'm sure people can tell I'm super passionate about this. I could talk about this until the cows come home, as they say, but how much time do I have left?
Um, Stuart, we have the session up until 11:30, so maybe possibly 11, so we have time for questions.
Superb. Okay, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Like I said, I'm not going to speak to everything. I'll speak to what's absolutely important. So you're looking at point number 6 over there, education. This is a very important one. Listen carefully. If on your profile today, the institutions you've attended, right now you're DET, right? Durban University of Technology. If the logo for the institution is not showing on your profile, it means you've typed it incorrectly. It means how you have put it is not how that organization identifies itself. So maybe you typed in just DUT. Maybe you typed in Durban UT. You need to identify your profile with how the institution has identified itself. Because what's going to happen is, one, the logo is going to show on your profile, but more importantly, you're going to be associated with the alumni. And the alumni is important to your professional journey. These are the people we're going to be reaching out to because we already share something in common. I'm going to be reaching out to my alumni to find out more about an industry, to find out more about an opportunity, to find out more about a hiring manager, to find out more about the challenges an industry has. My alumni is going to also look at its own alumni to say, who can I help bring forward into our institution? Who can I share this economic opportunity with? So it's absolutely important that in terms of your education, all the institutions you've attended, including the one you're in now, that the logo of that institution is showing because you get associated with the alumni. In terms of your skills and endorsements, let me explain how this works on LinkedIn. You need to put in at least a bare minimum of 5 skills that you personally identify with. Bare minimum of 5. You can add more of skills that you identify with. As you add these skills onto your profile, those who you're connected with will start endorsing you. They start standing behind what you're saying you have as a skill. They then say they've identified your skills by working with you, by knowing you, or they've heard about it from other people. They define how proficient you are in those skills. This skills matrix helps in terms of building your profile and how your profile will surface above others. You have an opportunity from a skills perspective to update the skills that matter. So maybe people are endorsing you on your proficiency around communication, and they're not endorsing you around your skills around entrepreneurship or artificial intelligence. So you might want to go in and then say, here's a skill that I've been crafting and working on, and let your network go out there and endorse it to add credibility to you. And if you want further credibility on LinkedIn, it comes through recommendations. Recommendations allow us also to rethink our purpose and our presence on LinkedIn. Because whilst we're job seekers, whilst we are entrepreneurs, we might be looking to receive recommendations from those who know us, those who have served, those who have seen great results from us. But it's also the opportunity for us to celebrate other professionals, to celebrate your faculty teachers, to celebrate that person in career services who transformed the way you think about your career journey, to celebrate those outside of the university who mentor us, who coach us, those who gave us an opportunity for internship, those who allowed us to job shadow them. This is your opportunity to holistically show the type of person you are. Because just as much as you receive as a recruiter, as a hiring manager, I'm trying to work out what kind of a person are you? When you join the institution, are you the sort of person to celebrate teammates? Are you the sort of person to be collaborative, to be adaptable? Who is saying this about you? What roles are they in? If you're not convinced on why you should have a LinkedIn profile, this should be it. Your resume has static information. Your resume, people normally have to reach back out to you to ask for referrals. On LinkedIn, it is your digital billboard 24/7, 365. I can read up about who knows you, what they've said about you, where are they in their career journey. That adds weight to what I'm reading about you as an individual. When I see your generosity in terms of the recommendations you've given, I already begin to understand the type of person you are. So what I encourage you to do here with recommendations is to be genuine, to be authentic. Remember, this is a platform where if we are insincere, other members will call us out. So what I mean by this is, as you give and as you receive, don't trade. It might be tempting to say, will you write something for me and I'll write something for you? That kind of kills the credibility behind that recommendation. So intentionally seek out to those that you wish to recommend, that you wish to recognize, that you genuinely know had impact in your life. And again, the words that you use and craft around what you're recognizing matter, because these speak to who you are as a person. And if you need to reach out to someone senior, maybe you did a project for the university, the vice chancellor is aware, but might not remember you as an individual. So then maybe as you reach out for the vice chancellor to recommend you on LinkedIn, you might take the approach where you write out a suggested text. Dear Vice Chancellor, I'm reaching out to you so that you can recommend me for the last student initiative that I ran as COVID set in last year. You might not remember me as an individual, but this is how I played a role: project management, cost reduction, and also saving the university some money. The impact we had is that we had a safer environment, and X percentage of people ended up getting this, et cetera, et cetera. You can elaborate, right? But keep it short, keep it succinct, and then give the vice chancellor an opportunity to read it and to add his or her tone onto that recommendation. And guess what? When they recommend you, it first comes to your inbox, so you can check it. If there's spelling mistakes or maybe there's a grammatical error and you don't want to embarrass them, you can send it back and say, oh, I think you made a mistake. You might want to edit this. But if you're happy with it, you can add it to your profile. This tells your story and adds credibility to who you are as a young professional. So think back where you've done volunteer activities, where you've done internships, where you've had mentorship coaching, and where you are currently helping other people on their career journey and having impact. The last thing you see on this slide is, of course, your interests. On LinkedIn, like I said, this is where we go to stay informed as young professionals. So you can follow people on LinkedIn. You can follow subject matter experts. You can follow organizations. And why is that important? Because when I'm a recruiter, when I'm a hiring manager, and I'm looking at your profile, I wander down to your interests. I go to your interests so that I can see who is shaping your thought leadership, who is shaping your thinking. How deeply invested are you in this sector? So if you're not following my organization, I'm beginning to wonder. If you're following my organization and following my competitors, okay, that shows me you're invested in my industry. If you're in groups that speak to the title, that speak to the industry, that speak to the problems we're solving, again, that adds credibility to you. When I see you following industry leaders or following certain hashtags that are associated with that industry, again, it speaks volumes about you. Jeff Bezos, head of Amazon, says, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So today you've chosen not to have a LinkedIn profile. What is it saying about you? You've chosen to have a LinkedIn profile that you haven't updated. What is that saying about you? You've chosen to have a vibrant and an engaging profile, a profile that educates, a profile that entertains, edutains, not entertain, edutains. Because here's the thing, we're human at the end of the day. This is a professional platform, but the journey you are on as a student or where you've reached right now, the help you have received from your community to raise your school fees or to get you to this stage, or the aspirations that you have or the problems you're trying to solve for. Those stories, we tell them on LinkedIn in a professional context. And that's why I said we edutain. We help other people learn. We share a little bit of our vulnerability of what we've learned on our career journey. And we use that to inform, to educate, and inspire those who follow up behind us. Because when we start telling these authentic stories of our struggles, of our aspirations, of our impact, of our results, those are the things that you see going viral. Those are the things that connect up with those who can give you access to new economic opportunities. So don't limit yourself. Limiting beliefs hold us back too much. If you look on LinkedIn on LinkedIn through your news feed, the more people you begin to follow that are in your industry, you will see that they will share thought leadership. They'll go beyond just building their profile. They will start sharing their own opinions based on what government is saying, based on what my lecturer is saying, based on some LinkedIn learning skills that I've just acquired. I could share that I've just finished a course. As I share it, LinkedIn then lets my network get to do the course for free for a limited time. How powerful is that? When other people can benefit from the investments you're making in yourself. Today, what I've shared with you about LinkedIn, none of this is a secret. So what are you going to do after this session, not only to help yourself? I'm a big believer that each one teach one. What are you going to do to empower the next person, the person who couldn't attend this session, the person that is a student sitting with you, the person at home who's job seeking? What are you going to do to help your spouse, your partner, your friends? What have you learned today that can help someone else? And how are you sharing it? Well, if you want to share it with reach and you want to see what impact it has, the best place to do it is on LinkedIn. Start engaging with your community, building up an audience of followers and people that begin to see you as a subject matter expert takes time. Building up that credibility takes time, but the journey definitely begins today. In terms of your network, I just want to share a couple of things here. You are going to get the slides. But like I said, in terms of your network, one of the most valuable pieces of networking that you can do is to ensure that, first of all, you're aligned with Durban University of Technology and that the logo is showing. You can go to the university page. And when you go to the university page, one of the things you'll see is, of course, the alumni tab. You can get a sense of who else attended this institution, where are they working, what kind of roles are they playing in, what kind of skills do they have, and then you can start reaching out. And when you're reaching out as a job seeker, I encourage you to reach out to seek informational interviews, not to ask for a job, but to seek to learn. To seek to learn more about that person, what journey they've been on, what skills they've had to acquire outside of formal education to help them get into that position, what challenges that organization is having and how you can help. So as you begin to build your network, as you begin to reach out to connect to people, give them a reason why you want to connect up with them, why you're curious to connect. And it's important also to share what you can give as part of that partnership, what you can share, and how you can help them grow. In terms of our network, I often find, yes, let's start off with our family, friends, and those around us. But let's always be on the lookout when we post content on LinkedIn for either people who are recommended or people that are engaging with our content but are not connected with us. Because those second degree connections are likely to be the ones to help you find access to that new economic opportunity. So that's on networking. Let's be intentional. Let's give people a reason why we want to connect up with them. And then let's be curious. Let's invest in relationships before seeking to get access to a job or a recommendation for a job. In terms of jobs on LinkedIn, you can be smart about this. And I want you to use your time wisely if you're a job seeker. Is that let's spend a little bit of time strategizing about this job search so that you're only applying for jobs that are relevant to you. And you're only applying for jobs where you honestly stand a really great chance of getting those opportunities. So in terms of helping you get access to jobs, on LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to tell the world you're open to work. There's a hashtag open to work, and you have the opportunity by clicking on your profile photograph on that little pencil mark to go in and activate that open to work button. This means the world at large will get an understanding that you're currently in the market for a job. And what's more, you have the opportunity to actually go in and say, behind the curtains, what kind of jobs you're looking for, what types of titles you're interested in, and the locations that you're currently interested in. Recruiters that hold LinkedIn licenses can get this type of information about you. So there's so much more you can start telling behind the scenes that will help recruiters understand where you are on your job search. And for those who are job searching, there's more help built into your LinkedIn profile that most of you, I'm sure, have not explored. Number one, you can filter by location, by title, by jobs, by description, etc. You can filter by job type, part-time, full-time, contracting. There's so many filters available to you. Number two, you can set up job alerts so that specific jobs that you're interested in begin to come through to you. Number three, you can also go into the job section and actually find links that will help you prepare for interviews. The typical questions that are asked, you can actually use our algorithm to start getting some suggested answers of how to answer some common interview questions. In terms of preparing for your interview, I'd already started on this. On your LinkedIn profile, the way I want you to think about it, this is your digital billboard. But yes, in the real world, they might ask you for a CV or resume. And they might ask you for a PDF of this resume or CV. But if you've kept your LinkedIn profile up to date, you will have the individual opportunity to download it and share that as a PDF. And if it is up to date, this is saving you a huge amount of time in terms of getting your most up to date and consistent view of your profile onto a PDF document and sharing it as a resume. That way you are in sync with what you've shared with the world and what's current on your profile. I've talked about following companies on LinkedIn. If you are really interested in joining an organization, I actively encourage you to follow them on LinkedIn, to read the posts that they have on LinkedIn. When you go to their page on LinkedIn, you will see a tab written Life. Click on that one because it will tell you about life in that organization, their culture, their values, their leaders, what they stand for, images of what the work environment looks like, what team building activities they do. This will help you get a sense of that organization so that when you get access to someone to interview you, or you're asking someone in that company, you're being more intentional. You're speaking about current things that you have seen them post on LinkedIn. There's LinkedIn e-learning courses that I'm going to speak about right now that are going to help you in terms of preparing for your next job interview, or at least your next informational interview as you go out there applying for roles. One other pro tip I'd like to give you is that on LinkedIn. If your profile is up to date, we have, in partnership with those who are posting jobs, the opportunity for you to click a button called Easy Apply. Now, if we think about it in the real world, most of us are going to see jobs and opportunities to apply for roles on LinkedIn using our mobile devices, our smartphones. You want to make that intentional behavior of applying for that role instant. So if you've got your profile up to date, if it is ready for applications, you click that Easy Apply, and what it'll do is give you an opportunity to directly apply for opportunities. In terms of staying up to date, I think we've spoken around some of these areas. LinkedIn, as I said, is a great place for you to go and tell your professional story. But it's going to be the place where it's going to help you stay informed. So that when you have an opportunity to share your opinion, when you have an opportunity to query, to question, to engage someone from an organization, you are being more intentional and you're speaking a language that they can relate with. And how you go about getting that quality of informed information that makes you a better professional, a better candidate, a better entrepreneur is based on, like we said, the people we connect with. It's based on the extracurricular things that we do for ourselves, the groups we join. When we join these groups, we're going there to learn. We're going to ask questions. Hey guys, I'm an entrepreneur based in South Africa. This is my value proposition. What do you think? There's a world of professionals in those groups that might give you advice that would help you. Likewise, you're a job seeker in the pharmaceutical industry. Join the groups where other professional pharmaceutical professionals are and start understanding what they go through. Take part in events. LinkedIn is a place where we're finding more and more that live content and video is available. Join these sessions, add your perspective, learn, engage, and of course, when you share content, leverage hashtags. In terms of continuing to invest in yourself, and I am getting to the end here, folks. In terms of continuing to invest in yourself, here's the first thing that I want you to absolutely write down. If there was ever a time I wanted you to be distracted from listening to what I'm saying and reading what's on the screen, it's right now. Because I want you to pick up a pen and paper or pick up a phone and take a photograph of that URL that I've got on the screen. Opportunity.linkedin.com, www.opportunity.linkedin.com. Why? Because as LinkedIn, we've looked at 10 of the most livable jobs that pay great salary, that have skills that are easily transferable. And we have then said, how do we package those and make them available to the world at large at no cost? So if you go on to opportunity.linkedin.com, you'll find skills on helping you prepare for interviews. You'll find skills on collaboration, time management. And you'll see that it'll say, if you're looking to become a project manager, these are the skills that you would require in the world of work based on how jobs are being posted. We're not just thinking, oh, dreaming this up. We're looking at how jobs are being posted on LinkedIn, which skills are in demand, and then we're providing you this learning at no cost. But this is where you begin your LinkedIn learning journey. I said we got over 16,700 courses on the platform. We're hoping that through this initiative, this partnership, this engagement we're having with DUT, we're then able to formalize and make the entire LinkedIn learning platform available to all of you. All of you being students, faculty members, and staff members. Through this partnership, we'll hope to help you onboard everyone and build a learning culture, provide courses and content that enrich the faculty so that they can provide a better experience to you as students, engage and partner up with career services who are your nearest point of call, the alumni team, who are your nearest point of call when you've got questions, when you're going out into the job market, helping you prepare so that you can be successful as a candidate and become an employee, or as a leader and become an entrepreneur. So we're hoping to build up this partnership, because by building up this partnership, We won't need to have as many of this type of session that we're hosting today, because we want to put learning in your hands. As a student, you can go so much further by engaging in world-class content that is relevant to the world of work on LinkedIn Learning, based on what other students are learning, based on what professionals are learning, based on what job seekers are learning, based on jobs that are open and the skills that are in demand. We make content suggestions for students. We make content suggestions for career services at DUT so that they can help support you as students at scale, because they're a lot closer to you than me, who's sitting in Dublin, Ireland. And then, of course, we provide content that enriches the university to be successful and sustainable. So we provide course content not only for our faculty, teachers, and student community, but also for the administrative staff within DUT. I had promised you and said that as I end off this session, I would highlight for you what skills are currently in demand in South Africa. And this is where the value of LinkedIn really comes in when we partner. Because as I've done here, I've just pulled the last 3 months ending May 2021. What skills are needed by the South African corporate market and institutional market, and of course, private sector and public sector? These are the top trending skills, top 20 for South Africa, based on those 9 million profiles, and sharing some of the algorithms based on the 745 million profiles that exist on LinkedIn. What's more, through a partnership, we're able to then dig in a little bit deeper and start saying who is actually hiring. Which sectors are they in? How big, how much volume are they bringing in people into their institution? So that when you do your job searches, you're more intentional. When you prepare to do the job search, to go for the interviews, to meet people in that sector, you're aware of the growth trajectory they're on. And what's more, through the partnership, we start looking at which jobs are currently in demand and are available. When we look at the most popular jobs where members in South Africa are being hired, these are them. And this is based on May 2021 data. Through the partnership that we have, we provide real-time data to the institution so that they can provide this sort of guidance to you as students, so that you can be more focused on what skills you're building on top of the formal education that you're getting, which companies and organizations and institutions you're targeting, either as an entrepreneur or as a prospective employee. And then lastly, so that you can shape up the skills that you have against the jobs in demand. This is my absolute last slide, which really just gives you in a nutshell, the things that we've covered today. I'd like to open up to questions as we wind up the session that we've had, and I hope I've added value to you as an individual. My last point to you really, guys, is that it's your time to shine. It's your time to shine as a student, as a faculty member, as a young entrepreneur. It's your time to tell the world the story of the unique skills, the results that you've seen, the investments that you're making in yourself, the opportunities that you're identifying, the unique ways you can help resolve those. It's your time. You have a fantastic opportunity. You own the most powerful real estate in the world, your profile. Bring it to life. Go beyond the profile. Tell a story. Help people get an understanding of who you are and why it should matter to them. Build your network. Share with your network the things you're learning. Invest in growing your network and your personal credibility at the same time. Do not just look to receive. It's your time to shine. Because guess what? The world is looking for you. People are resigning with all that's been going on with COVID and the transformation and the changes in the world. Your skills are in demand. But there are many people on the platform. What are you going to put in that will help you stand out? Every minute, 3 new people are joining LinkedIn. How are you contextualizing your profile? How are you contextualizing what you're sharing with your audience so that they know this is an article out of New York? But here's your perspective for Durban, for South Africa, for Africa. It's our time to shine, folks. Ranel, back to you.
Thank you, Stuart. I am absolutely blown away by your presentation. I had no idea that LinkedIn had so many features. There are a lot of questions for you. I'm going to start with M. Ngema. Wants to know the difference between LinkedIn Premium versus a free account. Can you shed some light on that for us?
Absolutely. Your free account, which is what we all have access to, is a platform that gives us an opportunity to start our journey on LinkedIn. The premium account lets you as an individual make an investment into your LinkedIn profile. So you might be a job seeker today. You might choose to have a LinkedIn premium upgrade license on your account. And what that will do for you is help you in your job search. So when you look at a job, you get additional insights. For example, that says, with this job you're looking at, 50 people have applied. 10 are based in Durban. 30 are based in South Africa. The remaining are based across Africa, US, etc., etc. Of the people that have applied, X number have an MBA, X number have a bachelor's degree, X number have PhDs. Of the job that you're applying for, before you apply, sorry, by the way, it will tell you, based on your profile, here's possibly skills gap. This job is looking for these 10 skills. I can see from an algorithm that you have 6. So what does that do? It gives me an opportunity to go back to my profile and maybe sharpen my profile because I have those skills. Or it helps me know what skills I am missing and then sets me up to say, should I apply? Am I ready? Because if I'm not ready, I don't want to waste my time. If I am an 80% fit, well, I'm going to apply. But if I'm currently a 50 or 50% or less fit, then I'm going to invest in getting those skills, which is where those LinkedIn learning courses come in. Because when you add them to your profile, it becomes searchable, and then I get closer to that opportunity. So the premium, in short, is something that you choose to invest in that will give you additional insights so that you can be more intentional about applying for certain roles. If you choose to get premium again, there's another one called the business premium upgrade. You can get that so that you can get business insights. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're beginning to start reaching out to the world of work, maybe you need insights that are related to business that can help you further your value proposition, sell your product, sell your solutions, or connect better with those in that world. But most of what I showed you today is based on a LinkedIn free membership profile. We're encouraging the university, as I said, to get into a LinkedIn Learning partnership. That way, the content that is available on LinkedIn Learning becomes available to you as students and alumni at no additional cost. But if you want to be a thought leader and you are in the job market today and you've invested in it from a personal perspective, it gives you access to that great content on LinkedIn and our LinkedIn Learning content. Hope I answered that question.
Thank you so much, Stuart. We have another question from Miss Benita Bobo. Does the logo only appear if the company or institution is registered on LinkedIn? One of the institutions I completed a short course with does not seem to appear on LinkedIn, and therefore there is no logo. I also did a quick search for the name of the institution and found people associated with the institution. However, they also don't have the logo appearing next to their work experience or qualification from the institution.
Oh, wow, that's rare. It hardly ever happens. But if there is an institution and you have identified that they don't have a logo, well, you need to pass them on to LinkedIn because it's something free. It's something that they can do. Literally, it's the person who administers the page who can do that. And like we saw, when we go on to, of course, Durban University of Technology's own page, the value of the alumni, connecting you and yourself to people in your alumni, it produces opportunities as job seekers. It produces opportunities as entrepreneurs. So it's rare that it happens, but if it does happen, well, put their marketing people in touch with LinkedIn because this is something they can do for themselves, and that's something free.
Perfect. Thank you for that. There is a comment from Miss Sarah Khan. It will be great if there's a how-to visual guide for our students. So, is there some type of a video or how-to guide on LinkedIn for students to have a look at on how to rock their profile?
Yeah, so thank you very much. A lovely question there. So, beyond what we've shared today, I think from a partnership perspective, what we'd like to do is, of course, get learning into the hands of the students and our alumni. Because as I spoke about earlier, LinkedIn Learning does provide additional ways of helping you, whether you be a freshman, whether it be, during your first semester, or whether you're about to actually apply for a major or go out into the world of work. With LinkedIn Learning content, there will be visuals used. In fact, did you know outside of Hollywood itself, we have the second biggest film studio in the world? We produce up to 60 new courses every week. And in those courses, you'll find things like how to rock your profile, how to build resilience, how to prepare for interviews, how to build confidence, how to showcase the skills that you've acquired during university. And what's more, not only do we put it into the hands of the students, but we put it into the hands of those in career services and alumni. Because again, we realize that, of course, right now I'm based here in Dublin, you're based out in Durban, South Africa. The people who are closest to our community are your career services and alumni. So they are there. What help can we give them? So, how to write a resume, how to master interview questions, how to turn an internship into a job. Those types of skills are available on LinkedIn, can be learned visually by DUT staff members so that they can be better supporters and allies of our students and our alumni. But you will get access to this presentation. But I think in order to bring this to life, each and every one of us needs to own our learning journeys. And we need to learn when we need to learn. Not like today when it was scheduled and you said you had no choice but to attend, but when we want to learn, when we're taking walks, when we have moments in our lives, when we need stimulation before a meeting, when we need to sharpen what we're about to post on LinkedIn. Maybe I do a 5-minute video on LinkedIn Learning and then I put my own spin on it, but it educates my community. And that community, when they start seeing value and gain from me, they start trusting me, it's gonna make it easier for me to sell services. It's gonna make it easier for myself to be seen as a prospective employees. I shared my personal story at the beginning. I moved from Microsoft to Oracle, from Oracle to SAP, from SAP to LinkedIn, purely because of the thought leadership content I was sharing on LinkedIn. Not because I was applying for roles, not because I was actively looking for roles, but I was sharing with my community things that built them. And after a while, those who could employ reached out and said, you know what, we love what you're doing. Come and do it with us. So guys, the content that we share on LinkedIn, when we go over and beyond just building up a static profile, that's what's going to bring us value. Is there any other question?
Stuart, we do have a lot of questions, but I am looking at the time and we just have 4 minutes left. So what I've done is I said, please send all questions to myself, and then we can liaise offline for all questions that everybody has, and then we can answer everyone as best as we can from there, if that's okay.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Attendees, I'd just like to pass you over now to my director, Mr. Zwakele Ngubane, who do the official vote of thanks. And once again, thank you, everybody. Stuart, I'm amazed. I'm still awestruck. So thank you so much for all the information.
No, thank you very much for the opportunity. I see Dr. Vuyo Mtetwa on the call. Thank you very much. I partner up with her in terms of building the university's workforce. So thank you for attending. And thank you, of course, to the office AARO for bringing this together. We will have more sessions like this. So thank you for attending. And as I said, go out there, make changes on your profile. We've got a feedback questionnaire that we encourage you to quickly fill out, but also help somebody else in your network. That's it from me.
And thank you so very much, Stuart, for that really passionate and really enthusiastic presentation. But above all, very valuable, very informative. I have certainly learned a lot. In fact, as you were speaking, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I have a lot of work to do on my own profile. So yeah, thank you very much for that very informative presentation. We really appreciate it. The responses have been amazing in the chat section, and we really do appreciate the value that you've added to this, which is part of our mentorship webinar series, because as you know, our objective as the Advancement in Alumni Relations with this mentorship program is to really empower and give our students an edge when it comes to preparing themselves for the world of work and the world of business, because even graduates unemployability or unemployment is quite a challenge in our country. So with high unemployment, it's clear that it's become very competitive out there, and it's very difficult even for graduates at times to secure employment or get involved entrepreneurially. So the advice and the guidance that you've given really will assist our students and our graduates in setting themselves apart from the rest, so that they can have a better chance at securing some form of livelihood, whether it be a job or whether it be an opportunity to start a business and network with the kinds of people that can mentor them as they go along. So thank you very much, Stuart, for that really awesome presentation. I'd also like to extend our deepest and sincerest thanks to our colleagues here at DUT. I know one of the lecturers indicated that the students must attend, but we've also received many other students and alumni as well who've just attended out of interest because of the valuable nature of this kind of webinar and the content that we would be presenting. So we really do appreciate all those who have attended, taking your time out of their busy schedule to be with us. We really do appreciate that, and we hope that you have indeed learned something very valuable from the session. A special thanks to Dr. Mtetwa for showing up, our Senior Director of HR, and she would really like to have another session with you, Stuart. So she'll probably be getting in touch and asking you to do a special session for the interns on the YES program that we have. So that may be something that you might be looking forward to. But thank you so much to you, Stuart. Thank you so much to everyone, and also to the team in the Advancement and Alumni Relations Office for putting all of this together. You guys have done really a sterling job, and thank you very much to everyone. And guys, just have a great day further, and yeah, let's stay safe. Thank you so much. Take care. Over to you, Ronald.
Thank you once again, everybody. Have an awesome day further. Dr. Vuyo, I know you had your hand raised. Is there something that you just wanted to say quickly?
Yes, thank you very much, Ronald. Thank you very much to the alumni team. Mine was just very quickly to the students to say that don't wait until you have finished your studies to put up your profile. I think you heard Stuart say this. Please start putting up your profile, updating it regularly, because when we hunt for you, we take about 8 months before we actually call you. So we start looking at profiles because we have an account with LinkedIn. You don't know that we're looking at your profile, but we're looking at your profile. So, and then when we're ready to pounce, we pounce. So if your profile is not ready, you may miss the opportunity. And that's what most organizations do. They have a lead time of about 8 months at least before they actually are recruiting. If you compare this platform to newspapers, you'll see in newspapers you're not going to find any jobs. But at LinkedIn, you will definitely find lots and lots of opportunities. Thank you so much for the opportunity to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doc. Everybody have an awesome day further. Thank you so much for attending. If you have any questions, I have left my email address. Please complete the survey for us. It will really, really assist us in further topics that you guys would like to have as webinars. So have a good day and thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thanks, bye.
Thank
We'll
you.
catch you soon, Stuart.
Bye. Thank you. Go well.
Take care.